Henry Marriage Wallis was a British zoologist, businessman and writer. Born in 1854 at Ipswich, he was educated at Bootham School, York. He moved to Reading, working there as a corn and seed merchant thereafter. In 1878 he married Sarah Elizabeth Crossfield. She died in 1886, and in 1891 Wallis would marry his second wife, Annie Laird Urry. During his time at Reading he served as a magistrate and curator of Reading's Town Museum for some 50 years. When John Henry Barlow requested in 1914 to advance the female members of the British Quakery, Wallis, as a member of the Meeting for Suffering's representative body of British Quakery, said that English women are not yet equal to the demands of public life, which is strange seeing that the entire point of his The Master Girl was a cave woman's self-advancement despite fervent opposition from her male surroundings. Wallis died at Reading in 1941. He began publishing under the pseudonym of Ashton Hilliers, his first novel being either The Mistakes of Miss Manistee or An Old Score, both published in 1906. He would continue to publish a handful of very obscure novels. His seemingly last novel, the 1923 The Walbury Case, seems excessively so. The Master Girl is one of his earlier novels published in 1910. The story concerns one Dehyan, an orphaned cave woman of the Little Moon tribe, who is considered too useful to simply give away in marriage, especially since the son of the chief whom she was promised to died under mysterious circumstances. As she is gathering berries one day with the small children given to her care, she suddenly stumbles upon a man hiding in a cave nearby. He is a member of the Sundisk Men, and went over the range to try and kidnap a wife for himself, as was common practice at the time, so the book says. He would have done so, but he ended up getting stuck due to a broken leg. Dehyan considers to simply hand him over to her tribesmen to be roasted alive, but then she sees his face and both fall in love at first sight. Dehyan then proceeds to plot to abandon her tribe once they are on the march to their winter campground so she can join the man in the cave. When she does reach him, she takes care of the man named Pulyun, and the two declare their mating with one another while still in the cave. Throughout the winter, Dehyan has to develop her latent inventive talent to fashion the very first bow out of sheer necessity, used to kill a bear which finds its way to their cave. This slowly starts Pulyun on the way to recognizing his wife's qualities, but what cinches it is how she deals with several members of her tribe who come back to find her after she had absconded with some of their property. After Pulyun's leg heals, they make their way to his Sundisk Men, where Pulyun uses his and Dehyan's skill in the use of the bow to thwart a plot to seize the chieftaincy from Pulyun's grandfather by Pulyun's cousin Hong Ach. And then, just as Dehyan becomes chieftainess, after punishing Hong Ach's treacherous actions, the novel kind of ends. About 200 pages, or 3/4 of the book, chronicle the first 6 months of Pulyun and Dehyan's marriage, and the slow journey back to his tribe. But then the novel basically skips over the next 60 years to chronicle their deaths. The Lynx Men, living inside of a fortified village and being the most powerful, due to their access to the stone weapon quarry and the sheer amount of slaves at their disposal to fashion weapons for them, who had already assaulted and drove out the Sundisk Men from their old haunts. After all this build-up, their army gets crushed within a page or two thanks to Dehyan's bowmen and military strategy, and their village gets annihilated in one paragraph. Even the existence of a squadron of elite female Amazonian warriors in the tribe is only alluded to briefly. It all feels like Wallis didn't want to have to bother to write out about Dehyan's achievements, so he just skips straight to the end.